Hey everyone, today we are going to rescape my two nano planted tanks and I'd like to take you along with this journey. Before I start, let me give you a bit of background on this particular nano planted tank. It is my 15-gallon rimless planted tank which is mostly dominated by various types of epiphyte plants. When I mention epiphyte plants, I am simply referring to plants like Anubias, Bouquetflandre, moss and various types of fern. I had been maintaining this tank for almost 3.5 years and as of today, as you can see, it's been neglected for quite some time. The moss is completely overtaking the aquascape. The fish are doing fine though. They enjoy the cover of moss and they had been breeding in this tank as well. Due to the overgrown cover of plants, I hardly get a chance to see them. I don't have any type of substrate in this planted tank other than some decorative sands just to keep the tank natural looking and aesthetically pleasing. All the plants in this particular planted tank are tied up with the driftwood, and as soon as I lift the driftwood, all the plants came along with that thing. The debris that you are noticing is simply because of no water change for last 4 months. Now let's take a look at the harvest. So the pile of moss that you are seeing are mostly Christmas moss, and all this moss came from just couple of strings of moss which had been introduced to this tank by mistake. As of today, by looking at the harvest, I don't regret the mistake though. Coming back to the second plant, all these trident fern that you are seeing all came from just couple of rhizomes which I added initially in this particular planted tank 2.5 years ago. I am surprised to see the amount of trident fern I pulled out from that tank. Now come back to the second planted tank which I own. This is a food cube and I also had been maintaining this tank for almost 2 years. Right now I am a bit bored with the current scape and I want to tweak it a bit to make it more interesting. I wanted to get rid of these 3 pillars which were initially looking good, but right now it looks like an eyesore to me. The fish which I had in this tank is a dwarf gourami and I believe the tank is too small for him as well. So right now I do intend to rehome him as well. I really wanted to add a clump of trident fern in this tank as well. So the best way to add trident fern or any type of fern is to simply zip tie them or tie them with a portion of driftwood and place that driftwood in the tank. I prefer to cut the excess portion of the zip tie and you will not even notice that we have tied the fern using a zip tie. Now time to place the trident fern at the back side of the tank. The tank has become a bit murky with this rescape and pulling out of stuff from the aquarium. After this I did a quick water change and this is how the tank looks after a complete revamp. I'll agree that the water quality is not pristine as of now, so I will try to do some more water change till the tank looks better. Now coming back to the other planted tank. This is how it looks now. A complete bare tank with bunch of roots floating around. Now from where these roots are coming, I'll explain it a bit later. A complete bare tank has its own beauty. The roots that you are seeing belongs to a pothos plant. So if you come across here, you can see I have placed a pothos plant just beside this tank. I noticed the plant managed to expand its root in this particular planted tank. So I didn't cut off the roots and I kept it as it is, even after complete rescape of the tank. Here you can see how big and lush the pothos plants has become by taking nutrients from the aquarium. I do miss the earlier planted tank as well. So I wanted to share a glimpse of how exactly it looked and its maintenance procedure. This is definitely one of my favorite planted tank in my planted tank experience. I want to keep some old shots of this tank so that you can understand this is how the tank used to look. I always used to have complained that the fish are not visible in this type of setup. They always used to hide beneath the plant mass. So that is the reason this time I thought of simply having a bare bottom tank. A bare bottom tank is often undermined, which in my opinion is a common misconception most of the hobbyists have. If done correctly, it has its own beauty. I'll definitely document my entire experience with this bare bottom tank and I'll share it in a separate YouTube video in this channel. So I hope to see you again in my next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.